like doing spoken word because the history of spoken word is the people, the griots telling the stories of the days before. I know I watched Roots when I was growing up, and the way that the story was told from Kunta Kinte down to Kizzy and then to Alex Haley is by the spoken word. So tonight we want to tell a little bit of our history. And we have a gentleman here tonight that's been a part of the spoken word community for over 20 years. And he is going to come out and tell us a little bit about spoken word and how it came to be in Nashville and how you ended up here tonight. So I want you to give it up right now real quick. So this gentleman is my mentor in spoken word and doing events. His event actually was the very first poetry event that I ever went to, and I listened and I watched him and I watched the production of the show to kind of get the idea of how I wanted to do things. He's a very prolific writer. He's actually an author working on his third book. And he is here tonight, and I want you to clap it up for him. He's an award-winning spoken word artist. His name is D Revolution. Clap it up for him.
How y'all doing? Y'all having a good time? Yeah. So I've been trying to get on the stage for about 2 years, and Monty wouldn't let me perform here. And she called me a few weeks ago to come here and give y'all a little bit of history about spoken word. When she called me, I got happy because I thought she was calling me to perform, but she was like, you never can't perform. I don't allow thugs on my stage, so we'll give y'all a little bit of history. So I moved here in like 1996 from Chicago, and at the time I was trying to do some things in filmmaking. And so I was invited to the spot to go promote and find other people to help me do this film. And I went into an event called The Spot. The Spot, when I went into the spot, there was a person on stage I thought was rapping, but he wasn't rapping. I didn't know what he was doing. He was doing spoken word, but I didn't know what spoken word was. The Spot was started by a woman named Kim Stager, who was from New York. She was here going to school. They called it The Spot because they couldn't find one set venue to do an event. They did an event every other week at different venues, so they just called it The Spot. And at the time, the internet wasn't really out at the time, so she would mail invitations to everybody to come to her event every other week. And at the same time, there was a cafe called Kajiji's Cafe that actually, when I moved here to Nashville, was right behind my house. I was living on Meharry and Kajiji's was on Jefferson Street. So again, you know, it's where I started to do spoken word. So I'm telling you this story because you guys here tonight are part of a long history of one thing that led to another. So you had the Kajiji's on Friday night, and then you had the Spot every other Sunday. Then there was a woman by the name of Shereen Whitfield who started the Poets Underground. And the Poets Underground was at Sir Pizza. They used to be on Jefferson. They became Knockout Wings, Nothing But Wings. I think it's something else now. It was called Poets Underground. And so I started there, taking the pictures. We all met there, so that was like 20, 25 years ago, and things like that. And then I started an event called A Little Something Something at Mama Lil's Cafe. I was doing events there, and at the time that I was doing that, there was these young guys coming in asking me how I was doing this, putting this together, how I was promoting and things like that. And these guys went on to start Love Noise. And Love Noise, how many of you know what Love Noise is? They started Love Noise, and that was very popular. And that Love Noise was where I met Imani. Now this is about maybe 12 or 13 years later. I met Imani, and then Imani became cool. She started, this is when Imani started doing poetry herself. And then she said, you know, her and Garrett started doing Soul Food Poetry Cafe. Now, the thing about Soul Food Poetry Cafe is there's been several different venues. It was very hard to get a venue because many venue owners didn't know what spoken word was. So it was hard to get in because they never felt like they was going to make money. We had to really kick down some doors. And, you know, there was one time that Soul Food Poetry Cafe was in the community center. I used to go to Soul Food Poetry Cafe when it was in the community center. There'd be about 20 people there, 20, 25 people. It was in a house at one point, and it just kind of moved up until where it is now. Very proud of Imani and what Soul Food Poetry Cafe has done to contribute to the spoken word culture. And there was also a time that you couldn't get $5 for people to come in and see spoken word. Now, Imani has grown into where you get triple that amount now, and it's amazing to me. So, I know that was kind of a quick history, but I only got 5 minutes, so it ain't much more. I can get into a whole lot of details because it's way more than that. But on the quickly speaking, I was able to give you a little run. How one venue led into another, a person started this, and so on until tonight. You know, when Imani started Soul Food Poetry Cafe, I've had many hours of conversation with her, you know, and you know, Imani's patience of really moving it the way that it should have been moved. I just didn't have patience for her, and she did very well, and I'm very honored to be here to talk about the Soul Food Poetry Cafe because I was here from the beginning, and I've been around spoken word since 1997, since its inception, and it's been very great, you know. And you know, her success is really makes me feel. I feel like I'm successful with the spoken word because she's successful, you know, because it is really spawned off of one person. The baton has been passed for several years, and here we are, you know. And I remember when there was a time when we couldn't even get in venues to do spoken word, and to see this is really amazing to me. You know, it's too bad I never got to perform on the stage tonight. Y'all I'm really good poets, you know, but
Whatever they real.
You know, Imani, you know, she want to project a certain, you know, too street for it. Nah, she put out there about 5 days for it, she put out there, she never come back, so I respect it, but, you know, no, seriously. But the other guy that was up here, you know, I'm like, why still my cursing, you know, but anyway. You know, and I'm better than him, you know. I'm joking. Anyway, we know this thing on the trouble.
All right, thank you, y'all. Thank you, Will. Just want to give y'all a little piece of what you guys have helped us create in the spoken word community. It is all underground, and I'm so glad for social media. And shout out to my daughter, Reese, who's my marketing director, who makes sure that